Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Ambrosio Cabrera.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Ambrosio, did you graduated high school, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you used to work?
Right before my arrest, I worked at a place called Baird Foundation Repair,
And what
but I
kind-
had some other jobs for that.
And had you ever had trouble finding a job before that?
There have been instances, but I got a job at the end of it.
I think in the PSI there's a reference to the officer who did your interview asking why you hadn't sought any kind of treatment. And you and I talked about that. What would you like the judge to know about why that hadn't commenced, or why you hadn't received that?
Judge, when probation officer asked me why I hadn't received treatment, I told him that treatment, psychiatric help costs money, and ashamed as I am,
Notice what's happening here. He's not just saying treatment was too expensive. He's painting a picture of shame so strong, he could not even take out the trash. Judges, especially she, in this case, often weigh these human details heavily because they show whether a defendant is truly remorseful or just performing remorse.
was afraid to even leave my house, to go to the front yard, to even take out the trash. And
Why? We'll tell the judge why you felt that was.
I was ashamed, ashamed for my actions, and my neighbors, they saw everything and saw that my house was, I had a search warrant for my house, and I was ashamed to have my neighbors see it. But regarding not even treatment costs money, and it's even harder for me to even ask for a job.
Oh, that you know they're going to see your background. Is that what you know?
If they would see my background from the background check, if afraid for my safety, that perhaps coworkers might find out about my charges, and I would say that if I wish that I had hope that I could have counseling to ask about things regarding getting a job.
And you agree that you should have some counseling?
Yes.
Now you never had an inappropriate relationship, did you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you just possessed images,
Yes, sir.
and have you had an adult relationship?
Yes, sir. That's
And is that still ongoing, or?
This is a critical moment. He admits possession but distances himself from direct action. In legal terms, that's a strategy owning the crime, but minimizing the danger. The defense is clearly trying to shift the narrative. Yes, he broke the law, but he is not a predator, and the judge will have to decide how much weight to give that distinction.
no, sir.
Right now, you're willing to abide by anything the judge would require of you if she were to grant you probation?
Yes.
Well, you understand that you would have to register annually.
Yes, sir.
And do you have anything else that you'd like the judge to know before she decides what to do?
Judge, I'm so sorry. I wish that I could change my time. I'm ready to accept the consequences.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, any questions?
Okay, great pledge. Mr. Cabrera, do you understand that the children in these videos are victims who are being sexually abused when the content is made?
Yes.
Do you understand that every time you view, download, or share those videos, that child is being re-victimized?
There's no evidence of any sharing.
Sister,
Your Honor, this originates from a McMick report where it was uploaded to Snapchat, Your Honor, so.
all right. The objection will be overruled. All right. Any further questions? And how old are you?
22, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Any argument?
Judge, Mr. Cabrera is a young man now. He was even younger a couple of years ago when this came to pass. And I think he's a person who, if you've read I know you have read the PSI, readily admitted his responsibility, came forth and readily accepted responsibility when he was given that opportunity. He waived indictment. He came to court. He took his pleas. He showed up here today, despite knowing that he might go into custody. I think he is not a hardened criminal. He has zero criminal history other than this one case. And I don't think prison is an appropriate environment for him, and it might be actually a dangerous environment for him. So we would ask the court to consider, based on all the circumstances and the lack of history, that we grant him deferred and give him whatever conditions the court finds appropriate.
Your counsel. State.
Judge, while this defendant may take responsibility to enter a waiver plea on this case, that waiver plea wasn't something that he just entered, letting the court punish him to the maximum with the state charging the most thing. It was a bargain between the state. He waived certain counts, he waived certain enhancements, and he entered into a plea that he thought was in the best interest of him in this case, that we all agreed was a good option. However, that plea is not for him to be agreed on probation. It's an opposed verb. Now it's deferred, not probation. I should be clear on that. The content in this, we have videos of children, a video of a child under the age of 10 being sexually abused. We have images of children being sexually abused, as well as images of them nude. These children are actual victims. Just because I don't know them, just because they're not here in this courtroom, they're actual victims.
And here's the gut punch. The prosecution reminds everyone that behind every file is a real child, suffering. This is Courtroom Strategy 101. Rip away any illusion that this is a victimless crime. It forces Hertha, judge, to confront the raw harm caused, no matter how young or inexperienced the defendant may be.
Defendant participated in their victimization by viewing, downloading, etc. this material. It's a serious crime. Just because it's his first crime doesn't mean it's not a serious crime. Just because he's not physically abusing these kids himself doesn't mean he's not victimizing them. So given the severity of the crime, given the severity of the content, and given the danger that it poses to the community, that if he's looking at this material online, what he could do in the future, I would ask the court to follow the agreement. I would ask the court to sentence him to the maximum under the plea agreement.
Judge, may I respond briefly?
Yes.
There's no evidence at all that Mr. Cabrera believed that anything other than these children were victims and taking responsibility for that. Everything that the state has pointed out to me, all the more reason why he needs to get the treatment that he provided under supervision of this court. And as you know, under supervision of this court, he would not be allowed to freewheeling on the internet anyway. So we would again ask the court to grant him deferred, give him the treatment that he needs and any other appropriate conditions that would be necessary.
All right. So I've heard the argument of your counsel, listen to witnesses, and I take everything under advisement. I'm taking your age under advisement. What the court is going to do, the court will find you guilty. The state is asking for 10 years. Counsel, do you want to address that?
Grant him probation, I would certainly ask for something closer to the minimum. Given the absence of any other previous problems and not trying to discount what he did, I still think that 10 is more than That's correct.
All right, and state, I know you're asking for 10.
Right.
All right, the court is going to sentence you to 8 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and there's to be Chapter 62 registration. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you review the trial court certification?
8 years. Notice she did not go with the state's full 10, but also did not bend to the defense's plea for leniency. This is what's known as a judicial compromise. It shows she recognized his youth and lack of criminal history, but the gravity of his crime left no room for probation.
Of defendants' rights to appeal with your attorney?
I haven't opened it, but, I
we said.
okay.
All right, it's telling you whether or not you have a right to appeal. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because you've waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
Judge, may I leave, please?
Yes.